Hey guys, welcome back. This is Clayton53Dan back here again with another What If. This is What If Deku was Sans. Sorry I've not uploaded in a little while, both on, this and more others. I was more in a, how can I put this without, I screwed up my sleep schedule. I was always tired, I would always do it at night, and I never got any of my videos actually good. So what I'm going to do during this, if I ever get sleepy, I will slap myself straight across the face, and I'll make sure everyone hears it. No, this isn't like I'm depressed or anything. It's just I get very sleepy whenever I'm reading, and this makes me sleepy now. I don't care. Let's do this. Where last left off, I'm sounding very cocky. Yeah. Where we last left off, Deku, it's Kara, as you guys said. Kara, Frisk, and Deku are just waking up from their Sunday after having an amazing time on Sunday. Whenever they're heading to school, they run into Uraraka and Bakugo. Hey Bakugo. What do you want, you damn Deku? Oh, nothing much. How was your weekend? Fine, like you need to know. Oh, Deku! Oh, what are you doing today? Well, I was hoping me, Frisk, and Kara can go ahead and go out for dinner tonight. They walk behind Kara and Frisk walk behind him. Aw, that sounds so nice. Thank you, and I hope we're gonna have a great time. Yeah, we're gonna have a very nice time, right, Deku? Trying to pull that yandere thing, glaring at Uraraka as Uraraka waves and yeah, kind of like a bloodlust. But let's move on. Whenever they get to class, they see not much people there. Mr. Aizawa's sleeping again, and some other kids are there, like Momo Yalrozu, Mineta. I feel like I kicked him out, but let's say I didn't, because I want to kill him in the USJ. Yes, I hate Mineta that much. Mineta was a mistake. Alright, let's move on still. Yeah. So, after a little while, the rest of the class gets there, and, of course, Aizawa, for just today, he is still sleeping, and everyone's asking, hey, should we wake him up? Should we wake him up? It's class time, maybe we shouldn't wake him up, let's have just a free day, just be quiet. Deku, being the honorable student he is, goes ahead and thanks, and asks, his two girlfriends, Kara and Frisk. So, Kara, Frisk, I have a little thing to share with you. Oh, what, Deku? So, what do you say if I wake wake Mr. Aizawa up with, I don't know, a blast? And it's like they look at each other and like give him the nod to do it. As it's not going to be like a big blast, but it's going to give him the, little jitter that he needs in the morning. Man, I can't believe I ever stopped this. What if? Hell. If I need to, I'll do my, and I don't even care. Pause for a second, ching. Like where I'm at right now. I'll put up another thing asking if you like want part 4 or like another what if, and I will put up what if Deku was infinite again because someone wants it again for some reason. But okay, I know I'm the only what ifer that's actually done an entire 2 times of what if Deku was infinite, but I'm glad I'm the only one that actually did more than one episode. And that feels amazing to me. I'm not the only person that did Azraelian. Someone beat me to that, but only by a day or two. I'll give him credit on that one. Yes. Any shoutouts? If you guys don't remember, this is Jeff the What Ifers What If that he suggested to me. Still, thanks to him, I'm doing this. I'll also do another What If about what he's given me. About if you. It's not Mei Hasume, it's Mei Hajime. If you remember, I don't remember the enemy's name. I forgot. It's about a guy. I feel like I forgot if he was isekai or not, but he was betrayed. He made an arm. He found a vampire, like the last vampire. He made friends with her. Found good loot. Went up, bunny girl, then a dragon girl, and they fought on defeating a demon. Now there is another one I do want to do. What is it? The Legend of not the Legend of the Shield, Rising of the Shield Hero. What was it? It was about spirits. I'll go ahead and look that up whenever I need to. I'll put it out on a post, and I'll put that up as one of the things, and you can go look it up and watch it. It's a really good isekai, I think. Or, I don't know. It wasn't an isekai. It was like a hero story. So I don't care. I loved it. So yeah. Like I was saying, Deku walked up to the front of the class and taps on the on Aizawa's desk, getting everyone's attention. He gives him the finger, shh, like quiet, and he puts his hand out as was that Gaster Blaster or Skull Blaster? I think it's a Gaster Blaster. That's how I think you guys say it. I don't know. I just like that name because Gaster Blaster. The Gaster Blaster. The Glock 19,000. I'm just kidding. I like having fun. But yeah, he brings that out and he starts to charge it inside so that Aizawa doesn't see the light. But what he does, as soon as it's ready to fire, he opens the mouth and a giant light peers out as Aizawa starts cracks his eyes open wide and looks as a beam goes right over his head, just missing him by, I want to say, an inch. No, by 3 inches. As that happens, it doesn't destroy any part. Frisk and Kara right behind Aizawa and took the beam directly because their determination is really strong. So it can be used as a absorber, a shield. It's really good. So they took it head on so it wouldn't destroy anything around them. But there were still like little cracks here and there across the wall, but everything was fine. If you guys don't remember, that's what Frisk looks like. And for some reason, that's what he gave me for Kara, but I like it either way. Yes. Aizawa jumps up. What was that for? I just got off from my nap. I can expel if I need to. Deku looks at him. I know you can expel it, but it's time to wake up. So, why don't you start teaching the class? And tell us what we need to do. As they go sit down, as Aizawa gets up finally. Alright, class. After that rude interruption by Deku, or Izuku, and Kara and Frisk, we're going to be doing the USJ today. We're going to be dealing with natural disasters, of course, with fires, open bodies of water, forests, and burning cities. In this, we'll deal with terrain and stuff like that. So everybody go put on your gym uniforms and meet me on the bus. As they all get on the bus and start asking about their quirks as they get to Deku, Frisk, and Kara. And it's coming from Sue, so yeah. So, what are your guys' quirks? Me and Frisk are determination. It's not really a quirk, more a special power. What we could do is we can absorb any energy. We can absorb different types of energy. I can absorb both negative and formal energy, as she can absorb basically physical energy. Basically, the negative energy is like, say like when a Baku goes blast or fire, projectile energy, she can absorb that while um, Deku's blasts are technically a mixture of both, so they can absorb both of that. So yeah. As they still are looking at him. Oh god. Yep. So does that happen? Yeah. Deku. It's up to Deku now. So yeah. Oh, I'm still talking about Kara. My bad. My bad. My bad. So we can also turn our determination to different types of weapons. I can make a bow while Frisk can. No, I can make a knife while Frisk can make a bow. The reason I'm saying knife for Kara and Frisk has the bow instead of a knife is because I want to have a different weapon so then they special to Deku in their own ways. I know I could set a gun, but who doesn't? But who wants to see Frisk with a Glock? With a Glock, actually, it kind of sounds cool now that I think about that. Off the subject. Next, Deku. So, Deku, what's your quirk? As Deku looks over, my, well, it's not a quirk. It's almost like theirs, a special power, but mine was infused into me. You see, before these two, before I had actually a quirk, before I ever had this power, I was quirkless. My father left us and he never came back, so we'll never get to see that again. I'll never get to see him again. From the divorce, my mother went into a slight dislikement to me, thinking that everything was my fault. It never really chose what happened. She used to come home with men that never seemed right. She would usually tell me to go to my room and don't come out until tomorrow. But it almost seemed like tomorrow never came. She would lock me in my room and keep me there hours on end. Sometimes with no food for one day, but I was fine with it over a long amount of time, but it's gotten worse since. Now I've been hit either with the back of a knife or if I've been slashed by one. But the beatings still get worse. It's usually either with a leather belt or some type of iron rod. And she's taken up a drinking habit in a little while. This has been happening ever since I was around the age of 5 and 6. It hasn't gotten better since, so let's keep it this way and say that my private life right now is not good. It's been hurt. These scars, they just won't go away. Even so, when I was about 8 or 7, I was kidnapped and found Krisk and Farah. Why would I say Farah? Krisk and Kara. Frisk and Kara. My bad. Frisk and Kara. And they were in the same type of predicament I was in, but they were never hurt by their own families. They were just lost in the world. They've lived a lot longer time than I have and seen more horrifying things than I've been through. A story they've told me, and Aizawa can hear this, so yeah. No, Aizawa isn't in there, it's just like all the students. I know I'm getting out of character right now, but yeah. The story that Frisk and Kara told me was about the friends they had. Whenever they were young, Kara and this boy, this kind of demi-human boy, were all friends and became a family. She was just the daughter of this kind of king of this underrealm. One day, her brother died, and never came back. Soon, the king and the queen divorced, and things were never the same. After that, she fell into a deep rage, until she finally passed by getting stabbed by one of the guards. The next 4 months were darkness for her until one day Frisk came down and landed as her soul conjoined with hers as they met this person named Flowey. He looked like a nice person, but he was evil underneath. After a little while, Frisk, Kara, Frisk met up with some of Kara's old friends. First one they met up with was Torio. She was a nice woman. She was basically a beast human hybrid. She was basically a goat woman. She still had her intellect. She still was very nice. She gave us a loving home. She gave her a loving home and told stories about back in the time when humans and monsters lived together. As soon as Frisk left, they've only heard from Torio once whenever they got to the palace again. But before they got there, they've met with other friends, like Sans and Papyrus, the two skeleton brothers. Papyrus was always a lot of fun with his tricks and traps in trying to capture Frisk, but he was outsmarted each time. It was a lot of fun having him around. Sans had an older brother as well. They called him, was it Killer Sans or was it Undying Sans? I don't know. I think it was Killer Sans. His name was Killer Sans because in the past he ranked up a lot of bodies, but now he's taken a more calm approach, and he'd usually battle out with his little brother. And Sans was a very nice person. He was mostly lazing and pulling out puns, but the puns were still funny. Hell, and this is like one I like. He asked his brother what his favorite instrument was. Papyrus asked Sans what his favorite instrument is until he got a pun from it. He said the trombone. As Papyrus just sighed and said, I can't believe you made up one of those dumb puns, Sam. I know, but it was funny still. As they've got along with each other really well, as the next person they met was Undying. She was a rightful warrior. She was kind of a fishy looking person, like literally fishy. She had looked like what could have been gills or scratches and some type of fins. But she can breathe on land, which was very nice. She could also summon bunches of spears and devastating attacks on her enemies. It was really something to watch her fight in action. Next one was a scientist. I couldn't remember her name that well, but she had a lot of scientific things going on. And during this time, something else was happening on the surface world. And I think from here I'll let Kara and Frisk talk about what happened, because that's all they told me for now. As they all look at Deku. Oh, thanks. Now, we'll leave off where he left off. Yes, we met her, and we also forgot, it's been a little while. We finally met with the king and the queen, and they started to get along, and everyone was starting to be happy as Flowey attacked again. This time, taking possession of their souls, becoming a very unkillable thing. As this happened, we had to fight them off, not with our hand, not with our fists, not with our blades, not with any of our weapons, but with our determination and passion of love. We poured our heart out to the ones we loved and told them everything was going to be fine. Our determination helped free the lost, injured soul. And after a little while, we've all broke the barrier until the true horrors actually came to light. Once we broke out into Germany. Saying Germany? That's odd. What time was it? As Chris and Farah look up in tears. It was 1940. We walked into town saying hi to everyone, but they all looked at the king and other people. They didn't know what Sands was, so they took him as a normal human. And in a couple minutes, we were all surrounded and asked if we were Jews or whatever. Of course, me and Kara were born German, were born Americans, so we told we were Christians. And they asked, and we even asked what a Jew was, as we never heard of it before, because we used to live in a old suburban home in a small town. As we only went there to Germany to see the sights and check out what was happening. Even though it would take another 2 years to get back, but I'd still be fine. As they looked at the others, and they looked at Toriel, the king, Undying, the doctor, and Papyrus, and they told the four of us, Sands, Killer Sands, Kara, and Frisk, and by that time, Kara has gotten her body back. The doctor made her a new one, and she was fine. She was happy to be back in the living room, to have her own feelings, to feel the taste, the touch, smell, and hear. But after they moved us away from our friends, they were put into camps, forced labor. The king and Toriel were shot first. They were executed on the spot. Even sometimes they would be whipped. They'd be whipped, tortured, and screams of bloody murder would come out. With this, we had to live with tragedy every day. We were all forced into homes, still working, but helping out with anything we can until we ran across a French rebellion and we decided to join them. 4 years later, on June 6, 1914, a radio came in from the U.S. or from the front, no, not from the U.S., from the French, saying, "The time is now. We must take back our own country," as we were nearby a beach, and all we heard was bombs fired, screams, and everything going on down there. And after a week or two, we heard from the Americans, Omaha, Gold, Omaha, Utah, Gold, Sword, and Juneau beaches were all taken over by the Americans. And they were recruiting survivors from the rebellion to fight with them. As we took up arms against them. We might have been too young to do it, but we still did. We fought through the war. It was harsh. It was tragic. But each time we fought, we had to live with the memory of our friends and foes. The screams, either friend or foe, was more hurtful and more tragic than the last. Until we finally got in to Berlin. Till we finally met up with the Soviets in Berlin. We shook hands as Germany surrendered. After that, another 6 months late, another 4 months. So if it ended in May, in the war ended in September. January, February, March, April, May. After 5 months, the Japanese surrendered, and we all went back to America and celebrated and gladly. And after that, we all were moved to Japanese in 1946. No, not 46, 47, where we finally turned 15. As after that, we can't remember. Next time we woke up, we were in the first century. We were in tubes being tested on by other people. We didn't know what was happening, but we saw our friends in there. It seems the bones didn't survive from sands and killer sands. But there was also another person, a boy they called Subject 153, or a code name that they had for him, Deku, because they told us that he had no quirk, he had no special power, and they were trying to give him power to use as a weapon, but something went wrong. He gained the power in the memories of our friends, but he doesn't want to explain what happened after. So he acted like we were like new to him, but really in contrast, he finally told us what happened and what he remembers. It seems we were frozen in time, technically, in containers to be preserved. During this, we finally got to live in an apartment he paid for. He worked, yes, but he didn't move in there with us. So we lived off of him for a little while until we finally got jobs. After that, he started showing up to school a bit more worse and worse. And we tried to defend him, but Bakugo, his so-called friend, kept on making his life worse for him. One day, we decided to see what was happening at home. Like he told you, it's been worse than ever. With that in mind, we try to keep him out of the stage of suicide and try to keep him in more of a depression state, trying to make him happy at least in some way. Keeping him in that state and not trying to make him go full suicidal. So, yeah, let's end that right here for right now. So, just to brighten up the mood, so how's everyone's day going? As everyone's like up in tears. And like, they all try to say, that's sad. I don't know how to contradict all this. The three get up. Oh, we're at the USJ. Let's go in, as they're all kind of tearing up still, just crying a bit. Hell, Mina had to freaking take a break for a little bit and had to cry into Momo's arms, because if someone was telling you this in like more detail, it would have been a lot worse. This is actually a really good what if now I think about it. Yeah. So yeah, Deku first getting Kara and get into the USJ with the rest of the class, as 13 is there. And that's all, as well as they're all looking at the class and see that Deku and Kara and Frisk are fine, but the other class are all teared up. They all look like they've heard something that should have not been heard by human ears before, but they heard it. And because of the termination of Kara and Frisk, they used it with the power of Deku, with some of Deku's powers, to actually see what happened. And I can only describe it in the worst way possible. It was like hell on earth. A more worse way to live during a time where everything's safe and everything's beautiful, but a time they saw and had to see didn't look like the world they lived in right now. It was a world of chaos, real true villains that even Overhaul can't touch. Even One for All, even All for One, still can't even touch what happened in the past. And I'm talking more of like kind of now things, like in Iraq or whatever. I don't know what's going on. So more in the 20th century instead of the 21st. So yeah, as they get there, the villains attack. And with this, 13 goes through the procedures of, how things are going to work as. Kamina, what is it? Kirishima looks down and sees, oh, they also got us fake villains as well? As Aizawa looks down, those aren't fake villains, those are real. 13, protect the kids. I'll hand them off to there and he jumps down. When he jumps down, he starts fighting villains left, right, as all the students are teleported in. Deku, Frisk, and Kara are all sent to the sea thing with Froppy and Mineta. As that happens, they all get on the boat and Deku asks everyone to hop onto the gaster. As they all float across, Deku uses the other two gasters he can summon as well. And he can summon a lot, he just summons two. He summons two of them and fire them down into the water, making the exact same holes as Mineta's sticks them all. As that happens, they all get to land as Nomu's being on Aizawa. Shigaraki looks over at Deku. Nomu, go kill that brat. As the Nomu comes over, and tries to hit Deku, but he blocks it with a skull as the Nomu keeps on trying to get through the gaster, but it doesn't work as two more gasters come out and shoots off the two sides of the Nomu, being the torso and the legs, shooting off everything except the head. As it starts to grow back, as Deku looks at Shigaraki and just breaks the head. As that happens, I'm gonna say Shigaraki tries to run at Froppy and them, but misses and touches Mineta, and Mineta dies. Like, oh, I'm dying, and whatever. As everyone kind of, looks away from Mineta. Yeah, looks away. As Shigaraki still tries to fight, but he's hit once or twice by Deku, Kara, and Frisk, being pierced with an arrow, stabbed by a knife, and lasered by Deku. Right now, he's bleeding intensely as Kirigiri asks Shigaraki to leave. As they leave, and All Might busts in. I am here, without a smile, and Deku looks up at him. You should have gotten here a lot sooner. As they walk out of the USJ, the next thing they're going to go to is the UA Sports Festival. As that's where I'm going to end off right now. I think this is a little short. Oh no, this is like 33 minutes. You guys should be fine. So I don't think this is short. I've only gotten to part 3. So yeah. I will make part 4 soon.